What if Iran had remained an ally of the United States? What if one of America's biggest rivals today had remained one of its closest allies? What if Iran never broke ties with Washington and the Middle East developed in a completely different direction? To understand this, we need to go back to the mid-20th century. In the 1950s and 60s, Iran was not an enemy of the United States. It was a strategic partner. Under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Iran aligned itself with Washington during the Cold War. The country received American military support, economic investment, and political backing. Iran became a pillar of US influence in the Middle East. But everything changed in 1979. The Iranian Revolution overthrew the Shah and replaced the monarchy with an Islamic republic. Relations collapsed almost overnight. But what if that never happened? What if Iran had remained a pro-Western monarchy, or gradually evolved into a Western-aligned democracy? First, the Cold War in the Middle East would look very different. Iran sits in a critical position, bordering the Soviet Union at the time. A stable US-aligned Iran would have formed a powerful buffer against Soviet expansion southward. Washington would have had a reliable regional partner with a strong military, massive oil reserves, strategic geographic location. This alone could have reshaped the balance of power across the region. Now consider the 1980s. In our timeline, Iraq invaded Iran in 1980, beginning a devastating 8-year war. But if Iran had remained aligned with the United States, that war might never have happened. Iraq would have faced a far stronger, internationally backed Iran. The Iran-Iraq war may have been avoided entirely, preventing hundreds of thousands of deaths and massive regional destabilization. And without that war, Saddam Hussein's regime might never have accumulated the same level of debt and desperation that later led to the invasion of Kuwait in 1990. Which means the Gulf War might also look very different. Now think bigger. If Iran stayed allied with the United States, the regional balance against the Soviet Union, and later Russia, would be stronger. Energy markets would stabilize differently. Oil prices might fluctuate less violently during crises. The Persian Gulf could become one of the most stable pro-Western zones in the world. Then comes the 21st century. No decades-long hostility between Tehran and Washington. No nuclear standoff. No constant sanctions. Iran's economy, instead of being isolated, could become one of the largest in the Middle East. With its population, education level, and natural resources, Iran might resemble a regional power similar to Turkey, or even something larger. It could be a technological hub linking Europe and Asia. A diplomatic bridge between the West and Central Asia. Now consider global terrorism, and regional conflicts. Without the deep rivalry between Iran and the United States, proxy conflicts across the region may look very different. Some conflicts might be reduced. Others might shift entirely. The geopolitical chessboard changes in subtle but powerful ways. But there's another side to this scenario. Would Iran's internal political system have remained stable? The Shah's rule faced serious domestic opposition in the 1970s. Economic inequality, political repression, and rapid modernization created tension. If reforms had not happened, unrest might have erupted anyway, just in a different form. Perhaps Iran transitions gradually into a constitutional monarchy. Perhaps it becomes a republic aligned with the West. Or perhaps instability emerges later, in another crisis. History rarely stays simple. Today, if Iran had remained an American ally, the US would have a major foothold near Central Asia, energy alliances would be stronger, the Middle East's power balance would be dramatically different, Russia and China might have less influence in the region, and the relationship between Washington and Tehran might resemble the relationship the US has with long-term strategic partners. Instead of rivalry, cooperation. So here's the real question: would a pro-American Iran have made the Middle East more stable? Or would it have created a different set of tensions? And how much of today's global politics traces back to that one turning point in 1979? What do you think? If you enjoy exploring alternate history scenarios like this one, you might also like What If? Book of Alternative History. It explores many fascinating timelines where a single decision changes the course of history. The link to the book is in the description below.